an abattoir full of retarded children, and the night reeks of fornication and bad consciences. And all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No, no, no, no."
Who watches The Watchmen is the question we ask. The answer is us, who is gunning for masks. The lines are blurred between capes and criminals. Break the rules to keep casualties minimal. Attack against one is attack against all. This is what happens when the dream comes true. God doesn't make the world this way, we do. Only got ourselves to play. Worry on, we're trying to save. Gonna kill millions and attempt to save billions. Finally got his punchline exchanged for his lifeline. There's a truth in the lies that can't be disguised by a mass over eyes. Gotta keep watch from the city top as bomb drops. Only survivors see civilians become villains. Stay one step ahead. Not many laughs to be had when comedian is dead.
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who keeps track when the enemies attack while the watchmen are stabbing each other in the back?
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who's in charge when the world falls apart? Why heroes but the eagles alone in the dark?
I guess it was only just a matter of time. Doomsday's digging closer cause the world's in decline. Listen to the chimes and cries in the midnight skies. Through the vigilante's eyes you see chaos and lies. The masks aren't enough so they hide in the shadows, cause the ones they protect want them locked in the gallows. Buried in shallow graves, they're no longer a threat. Little do they know that the worst ain't happened yet. Just because one dies doesn't mean they can't fight back. Watching retribution with the plan of attack. It's not about payback or making people's bones crack. Just tell me what you see when you're staring into a Rorschach. Not sure what to do to get the message through to you. It's not about guns cause the wars have gone nuclear. Whose help will you ask when the end draws near? We need saving because we're drowning in fear.
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who keeps track when the enemies attack while the watchmen are stabbing each other in the back?
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who's in charge when the world falls apart? Why heroes but the eagles alone in the dark? The end is nigh, cities blow sky high, millions die, nations reconcile to save the world. The word hero don't mean shit no more. We turn our backs and say close that door.
The journal will be eternal, holding thoughts of a madman. Each page a story how this trouble began. He can't stand the stench of the city. No pity for the humans who condemn the vigilante committee.
It's not just the end that's pending. Heroes pretending it's us they're protecting. Contemplating as your mind goes to dark places. It's in these thoughts that set your heart racing.
A night owl on the prowl looking for foul play. A hero in dark times, an average Joe by day. Peacekeepers helping those who are living in doubt about the state of mankind whilst animals wipe themselves out.
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who keeps track when the enemies attack while the watchmen are stabbing each other in the back?
Who watches The Watchmen? Who watches The Watchmen?
Who's in charge when the world falls apart? Why heroes but the eagles alone in the dark?
Joke. It's all a fucking joke. I done some bad things. I did bad things to women. I shot kids. But that was fucking war. Fucking war. Fucking war.
Could this be the spaceship of the future? Here, the researchers are testing their thrusters in gigantic steel tanks under the near-vacuum conditions of space.
The question we're asking ourselves is how we can use modern propulsion systems to travel long distances in space, like from the Earth to the Moon, or Earth to Mars, or even farther, and how we can use these modern systems to save fuel mass. Because that's what makes many of these missions possible in the first place.